Over the past year, I've become a big fan of a man named Mark Oshiro. And this is a guy who, if you haven't heard of him, writes for two websites that he's created that are together called Mark Does Stuff. And these are markreads.com and markwatches.com. I'll put the links in the description of this video. And what he does is read and watch books and TV shows and or movies that he has never seen before and has no, or at least almost no, prior knowledge of. And he records chapter by chapter and episode by episode his thoughts on just how good they are or how bad they are, and how usually they relate to his own life, because this guy, from all appearances, for his first 20 or so years, has led just an incredibly depressing life. He first realized he was gay at a very young age and grew up in a strict Christian community with all that implies. He had a very traumatic experience of being forcibly outed that caused him to become an atheist. He ran away from home as a teenager and had to support himself. He's tried to commit suicide, I think twice, maybe more. But he's now grown past all that, and he's gotten comfortable with himself, and now he's actually found this community online that has followed his stuff and really loves him enough that he's comfortable just talking about this, and it's actually really touching to see that. But the main attraction really is always his reaction to the works themselves, especially when something very dark happens, because he just goes completely overboard with the way he writes about it. And it's hard to really describe because it just probably, if you haven't read it, it's hard to just keep it from sounding incredibly annoying. But he's developed a few catchphrases, the biggest being, "shit just got real," and "I was not prepared for this." And he just uses these over and over, and somehow it doesn't get old. I have no idea how that happened, but it just doesn't, because he just has so much enthusiasm for everything that he writes down. And the other reason that I'm posting this video, just to get people to talk about him, is he has now made these two websites his sole source of income. He's now making enough money from them to actually be able to quit his job and use this as basically his new job. He's living my dream, and I'm sure the dreams of a lot of us that do this kind of thing. But the thing that makes this possible is he's now selling some of his work slightly edited, or regarding some of them, majorly edited versions of his own things. And he started with Twilight, just out of what I believe is now called bile fascination, where you read something or watch something just to see how bad it is. And those 4 books, based on the 4 books of Twilight, are just full of incredible rage that really becomes so disturbing that it warps back around to being funny a lot. And he's now moved on to some other things. After Twilight, he started Harry Potter just because he wanted to do something good to get that taste out of his mouth, as it were. And that really started him on the road he was now, because it got him a lot of fans, because he actually really liked Harry Potter, and the fans were attracted to someone seeing the whole story unfold for the first time, living vicariously through it again. And that has grown from there. Some other things he's done are The Hunger Games, Infinite Jest, Firefly, Doctor Who, Fringe, The Book Thief, Sherlock, Avatar: The Last Airbender, His Dark Materials, the new Battlestar Galactica, A Song of Ice and Fire, American Gods, Looking for Alaska, Jekyll, and now he's doing for Mark Reads, The Lord of the Rings, and for Mark Watches, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And yes, he actually has gone through his whole life until this point having very little idea what happens in either of those, and I'm not sure how that's possible, but it's still pretty neat to see someone actually having initial reactions to the stories of each of them, and all the ones I've mentioned before, at least the ones that I've read, because I haven't read them all. It's a lot. And some of them I haven't seen or read the things myself, and I want to save that experience. I don't want any spoilers, just like him. Oh, and speaking of that, another thing that kind of makes him fun is that these are all his genuine first opinions, and to keep that up, he has an incredibly, extremely strict spoiler policy. And you get a very stern warning if you use any spoilers in your comments, unless they're in a code called Rote 13 that the fans have really just by consensus decided on. Basically because there's a website called rote13.com where you can just encode and decode messages very easily in it. And now he has started doing ebooks. Like I said before, he's finished the 4 Twilight books that are out by that now, and now he's doing the same for his Harry Potter reviews, which also include him reading the books again and doing second reviews on each chapter now that he knows the whole story and he can see the place that each of the chapters have in it, which is also like kind of a neat thing to just view over again, because I've read Harry Potter the entire thing through 3 times, and it's kind of really analogous to my own experience doing that whole thing. And also, a little trivia, he put out a call for editors for his articles that need some touching up. He just wrote them on the spur of the moment without much editing, and I answered the call, and I did editing work on that, so you'll see my name in the acknowledgments of all the Harry Potter books, and hopefully this will continue, at least for the ones that I've seen and read, because I'm hoping to not still be able to go into some of these blind. So he's also asked in his posts announcing this thing that he's now doing this work as his job for his fans to spread the word around, and so this is my part in that. Hopefully I've gotten him some new fans through this, the few people that actually maybe watch this channel. I know I have a minuscule number of subscribers compared to a lot of people on YouTube, but still, I'd like to think I did something. Check it out, links in the description, and just have fun.